Here's a guy who thinks that the best way to do apologetics is to appeal to people's emotions.
Hey, this is Graham Persett talking about winning the person, not the argument. Well, Christian apologetics is about making a defense for the Christian faith and answering challenges to the Christian faith. But we're not here to win arguments. I mean, it gets kind of distracting sometimes because we study more the academic side of Christianity, theology, philosophy, and different arguments. And so we can get into the arguments, but the point is, I don't really care about the arguments. I care about people. I care about sharing the good news. Now, in the book, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist by Norman Geisler and Dr. Turek, they talk about people rejecting Christianity for three main reasons. Those three reasons are intellectual, emotional, and volitional. Some people just don't want to accept Christianity. And Frank Turek has a brilliant question to bring out people's motivation. You can ask somebody, if you found out Christianity were true, would you become a Christian?
Insofar as becoming a Christian requires me to advocate laws against abortion or discrimination against gay couples, it's not only the case that I wouldn't become Christian, I don't think I could. Banning abortion and gay marriage are unconscionable to me. Even if there is a God that says that these things are bad, I couldn't bring myself to oppose them.
And if they say no, well, then their problem or their stumbling block isn't intellectual.
That's not necessarily true. Even though it's the case that I wouldn't practice Christianity, even if I were convinced that its tenets were true, that doesn't mean that my primary stumbling block to believing in it is not intellectual. I find its claims to be largely incoherent, in addition to finding its ideas about morality to be unconscionable.
Even though you might be having an intellectual discussion about a point. So this person might talk about the cruel God of the Old Testament, but when you ask them, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? And they say no, well, there's something either emotional, maybe they were mistreated, maybe they were perceived to be mistreated, maybe they don't like Christianity, maybe they have a false caricature of what Christians are and what they should be.
Does a person need to have been mistreated in order to find the idea that homosexuality is a sin to be repugnant? Is it true or false that being a Christian entails opposing homosexuality and abortion? Is this a false caricature of Christianity?
So the main reason I'm bringing this up is that when we're talking to someone about a different issue, there can be an intellectual stumbling block or block in the road, or there can be an emotional. So the classic example is the problem of evil. If I'm talking about the problem of evil, I might talk about, God created the potential for evil by giving us free will to accept or reject him.
And a God who creates even the mere potential for evil is not a perfectly benevolent God.
Right? And I can talk about the problem of evil being the cause of humanity leaving God. Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. But if they have an emotional problem, something that maybe they were mistreated by someone in the church, then that's not really where the discussion should go. So we need to win the person, not the argument.
Even from the perspective of someone who wants to engage in apologetics, this would not be very helpful advice. He never explains how to win a person who rejects Christianity for emotional reasons. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.